What do I do now?
Survive.
You
Wait.
did sound a little bit different from Jade. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A li-
Wait till I start my hormones and I do my transition. You won't be
Okay.
able to resist.
You might want to shave. Just saying.
Hello, hello.
I'll be,
Welcome to another episode of Science Fiction Remnant. I am not a hot, sexy program.
you just say this conversation for going straight to hell. This is Captain Chaos.
I am your host, Robert. And I think we forgot the mad scientist.
Oh, I didn't even hear Chaos mention himself. He snuck that in there, and I didn't catch
Oh,
it.
you're not listening to me, boy.
No, it's just the chaos that's getting to me. That's all.
Yeah. Yes, we blame the chaos.
I'm the mad scientist in South Florida,
South.
otherwise known as Australia.
There you go. I think you got the
Who we
right
have?
amount of south.
No.
did.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, who do we have here, Robert, today? Yeah.
We have, okay, there's a story here.
Yes.
If you guys listened to season 2, you must know the creator of the music. If you look at the screen, for all of you who are on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube, come on, subscribe. You know, we are so close. You've seen him in previous episodes. He is the creator of the science fiction remnant music that you hear in every single episode on season 2. And he has created, they have created a new band. So we invited Miguel and Tyler. Welcome to the show, Chasing Stars.
Thank you, everybody, for
thank you
watching.
for having us.
Thank you guys.
There you go. That's what we're missing.
Where's the one cheerleader in the background? Woo! That's right. I got the IG people going crazy right now.
There you go.
Nice. So thank you so much for being on our show. It's going to be kind of like a first for us because we're going to play music for the first time. I don't think we ever done it in this show before. So Miguel, Tyler, can you tell our audience a little bit more about your band and where they can go, all the information that they might want to, once they hear the song, they want to go to your site and listen to, because the song is amazing.
Sure, man. Yeah. So like Rob said, we're Chasing Stars. The band was created actually, funny enough, probably like a month ago. I went into the studio with my guitar player Dez, who I play bass for in another band in AMOV. And we recorded this song together. We're like, yo, we should just like make this something. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I started making a website and putting the music on there. And then little did we know, like a week after, we had radio stations playing it. We have a few record labels that are like following it right now. So it got like crazy fast. And I'm like, okay, I think that we should probably put a band together just in case, because we only have one song out right now. But really, there's like 4 or 5 that are almost done. So I figured, you know what? Let's slow down. Slow down. Sorry. I was reading your chat. I was like, let's speed things up a little bit. Hold on, guys. Let me adjust my volume here on the mic. You guys probably.
Oh,
better.
okay.
Let me see.
Yeah,
There we go.
There we go. There you go. You guys hear me better now?
Well, now there's some sort of static. You guys hear that?
Because we're static.
Yeah.
Static.
So I guess while you work on your technical difficulties there, I would like to play your song on our show. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and play that before we move on.
I don't mind at all.
It's party.
It's a party.
I'll
Here we
explain
go.
the song. Let me just get this situated.
Lately I've been feeling hopeless. So many words I left unspoken. Every time I look away, my demons bite back at me. dragging me under and tearing apart, scarring my soul to scavenge the parts, feeding the ego and letting me fall. I'm sick of this nightmare, I'm done with it all. I'm falling in the deep, 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 deep. My mind's always asleep. I'm losing all my hope. There's nowhere left to go. I'm falling in the deep, 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 deep. I won't be a slave to what you say. We're always suffering it. I'm falling in the deep, 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 deep. My mind's always asleep. I'm losing all my hope. There's nowhere left to go. I'm falling in the deep, 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 deep. I won't be a slave to what you say. We're falling down. We're always suffering. We're always suffering it.
You see what I mean? Was I right or was I right?
Yeah.
So all of you other who are listening to our pod, if you're interested, there is a link in the description for the website for Chasing Stars. If you are following on, if you're listening or watching us on YouTube, you should be subscribing by now. Go ahead and scan the QR code, and that's going to take you to the website for Chasing Stars. So what do you guys think? Ray, what do you think?
Well, for the first band that we've ever had playing on the show, it at least, ticked the box of, well, it's sci-fi related. So that's how they got to be the first.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah,
Oh, definitely.
love taking that.
That song is fire. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think Miguel and Tyler are having some issues because every time you talk, it like goes fast. I wonder if you can refresh the browser and see if that fixes it. Yeah.
My
But
browser?
yeah, if you refresh it, maybe that will fix the issue. So I guess before we have them come in and explain about the band. I wonder if we should move on to the technically the first question that we ask at the show.
That's right. What have you guys been watching?
I'll get it out of the way, guys. I haven't been a loyal fan to Sci-Fi this week. Besides a novel I cannot speak about because it hasn't been published. So, no Sci-Fi for me this week. I've watched other things like anime,
Alrighty.
fantasy. There you are. But
We're
not
all better
Sci-Fi
now.
for me this week. Oh, yes.
Okay. What I have been watching, I don't know if you remember that show. They came out in 2012 with Rachel Nichols. It's called Continuum. It's not that. It's not that show. It's called Continuum, but it's not that show. So I wanted to get that out of there because they both came out in the same year. The only difference is one is a TV show and the other one is a web series that was cut into a movie.
They overshadow each other.
And he's currently on Tubi. So I am really not only very nostalgic for me because I saw that web series when it first came out on YouTube, but it's so like I think Gio, you were watching it first, the first couple of web series episodes that I found on YouTube, but the recut into movie was actually better because it was the entire story all cut into one. So yeah, that's what I.
Hey, Robert, are they both in the same universe? Because otherwise, they're not a continuum.
Well, they are in the same universe, not to each other. Just not to each other. But yeah.
Okay. Then they're not a continuum, clearly. Yeah, not in front of that.
Okay, so that's all I've been watching.
Well, okay. Not to sound like I'm flogging the same horse completely, considering what we're covering today, but I watched a certain little movie from 1982 called Tron with my son, and he's I've got to get his writing skills up for the test to get into selective high school. So I got him to write me a synopsis of the storyline for Tron. So
nice.
Got him to watch the movie first. He's not very good with movies, so I've got to get his attention span up a bit because, of course, all the youngins these days are all about shorts and reels and TikTok and everything that takes less than a minute.
Yeah.
Of course, there's certain things that a man doesn't want to take less than a minute with because they get a bad reputation. But you got to get that attention span up. So we watched Tron together. Then I watched the IP we're covering today, and then I started watching this other thing, which is animated. I'd call it an anime. It feels quite anime-ish, called Tron Uprising, which I didn't know about until yesterday. So I thought, that's quite interesting as well.
Yeah, boy.
It was awesome.
So I had a very Tron-y day. And also some more HFY on YouTube. Now, there's a whole bunch of channels on YouTube that have HFY in the name. This one's called HFY Codex. So it's yet another channel that does sci-fi stories. And this one was, she spent 10 years in a wheelchair until a human fitted her with robotic legs.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And it was actually a really wholesome, sweet story about an alien girl who, because of her species, she couldn't have prosthetics fitted to her. But a human who was doing a lot of, he was pulling technology out of junk piles, and he got these quantum processing chips out of an alien battleship, and used those to connect the nervous system of this alien girl to these robotic legs. And he was the first one able to actually create prosthetic robotic legs for this particular species. So it was quite an interesting story. And of course, they fell in love and managed to have a cross-species baby, and nobody could work out how they did that either. But,
of course.
But you got to have the romance component.
Yeah,
it was a sweet story. I quite enjoyed it. So that was on HFY Codex.
That is, I'm sorry, Ray. You adorn it and make it sound pretty. That is just intergalactic, interracial relationships.
It sounds like it's Robert approved.
It is Robert approved.
Yeah, you're a kinky man. You're a kinky man, bro. I get it.
And you know what? I forgot.
If Kirk can do it, anyone can.
Heck yeah.
Oh my god. That's why you like Star Trek, huh? It excuses your kinks.
I think I forgot one thing you guys are going to be happy about. I completely forgot to mention I am doing a rewatch only because there's only one season. And if someone is listening out there, please hurry up with season 2. I need it.
Please don't tell me Star Trek. Please don't tell me Star Trek.
It is No, I'm kidding. It is. It is not Star Trek. It is
Doctor Who. Doctor Who, because that's the other.
Yes, it's Doctor Who. No, never mind.
Oh, no.
Doctor Who is great. I love Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who, but no,
that's
it's
everything he watches.
It's not Doctor Who. It is Dating Sim. And
yes,
and we covered it in this show. So I need
there's supposed to be a second season of that coming, but they haven't announced a landing yet.
Yeah, they haven't announced anything. So yeah, There it goes. There's two things that we covered before. So go to our back catalog and search for it. Okay, so going back to the very exciting guest we have today, the very first time we played a music from the band on our show. Miguel, Tyler, I guess your mic is fixed now. So if you can tell us a little bit about your band and where our audience can go find it.
Sure. So, name is Chasing Stars. Right now we only have a website. I have the Spotify still being set up right now. Like I said, like everything was going so fast with everything getting played on radio. I'm like, okay, we need to have a place to play our music where people can hear it. So we decided to make a website. It's ChaseStarsOfficial.com. Literally, I was able to get the domain. So there it is. You could download the track. Please join our mailing list, especially like what happened today with TikTok. Taking a crap on us for about 12 hours and coming back. You never know when streaming platforms are just gonna say goodbye and never.
Yeah, I think we're having we're still having problems with the audio. It sounds like you're talking a mile a minute. I don't even know how's that even possible, but but yeah,
We're lagging. That's why we're lagging.
Oh, that's probably that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lagging.
Are you having bandwidth issues because you're doing 2 streams at once?
Maybe
It could be a bandwidth issue.
that would make sense.
It could be. All right. So let me take the people off from here.
Yeah, so it's really, really strange. And you sound also very soft. So I was trying to increase your volume from this end.
Very soft.
Yeah.
Just talk harder.
Oh! There you go.
There you go.
You're suffering in silence. Apparently,
That's right.
Common.
That's exactly what's
I
going
heard
on.
it in a song just recently.
We're suffering in silence.
There you go. That's what we got.
It's amazing how many people, when they're singing something about silence, yell it. I don't know.
I bought with no camera for the stream to help my computer.
Okay,
If it works, if you fix the audio, that's all right.
Because I think the audio is more important than the video itself.
It's still the same. You can try refreshing again and see.
Let me see.
But yeah, it sounds like it's because you're lagging. That makes sense. So,
All right, so let me check my Focusrite thing. I'm sorry, guys.
that's okay. So what we could do in the meantime,
This all happened over the
well,
weekend.
You're good, man. You're good.
you're
Should
good.
we go to the next segment in the meantime?
Exactly. Let's go to the next segment. We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is Sci-Fi.
And if you are new to the show, this is a segment that we use to highlight hashtag this is sci-fi. And what is that, you ask? This is sci-fi is an attempt to create a community, a complete community all about science fiction. So if you are a creator of any kind, could be music, could be a podcast, could be a TV show, a book, which, by the way, I have to say, we do have a lot of authors in there. I'm pretty pleased with that, because as we have, if you guys have heard from us in many episodes before, we love authors or creators of stories because they are creating sci-fi worlds, and that is so something totally amazing to us. So thank you for all the authors that actually involved in the hashtag this is sci-fi. But of any kind of sci-fi creator, basically what you do is you post your your normal post like you normally do, but just add the hashtag this is sci-fi. If you are a fan like we are, you are going to post a lot of stuff about your favorite thing. Most likely, you're going to post it with passion because that's the thing that you love and you want to talk about it. All you got to do is add the hashtag this is sci-fi to the end of that post. Basically, what happens is you either find someone that has watched the thing you love and you actually gain another friend. You get another conversation about the thing you love so much. The other thing that you will encounter is you're going to be exposing someone that either has not experienced the thing that you love, or maybe they refuse to experience the thing you love. And the curious thing that I've seen, and this I've seen in the past by experiencing the hashtag, is that your passion for that one thing is good enough to pique the interest, pique the curiosity of the other person reading it. So even if that person refuses, they actually are curious. And now their interest is piqued. There's nothing more powerful than passion. And you might get a new conversation, a new friend, and definitely a new fan to that IP that you love so much. And if you are a creator, you'll be exposing your creation to the same group of people. So it's all a unified front where you can talk about all types of sci-fi under one flag. So I guess I usually ask this in every episode. So you guys have anything else to add to the segment for the hashtag?
I do.
Well, I go ahead, you Ray, because if I haven't been watching sci-fi, imagine my interaction with sci-fi this week.
Pretty small. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to share. So, you know how we're always talking on the Science Behind Science Fiction about how sci-fi writers help shape the future of technology? Well, UK Ministry of Defence enlists sci-fi writers to prepare for dystopian futures. They're not just like picking it up out of books and movies and games and things like that. Now they're actually going to the writers and saying, "Oi, help us deal with these future problems before they happen." The sci-fi writers are like, "Okay."
But that, Ray, you have, that's very interesting. We actually talked about this in previous episodes, and one of the reasons why I love so much sci-fi, even from a very young age, is the fact that sci-fi is a thought experiment on not only technologies but societal issues. And it's kind of nice to see that a government is actually acknowledging this fact. We sci-fi is our sandbox where we can play around and see how things go. I mean, if you're out there listening to the show, if you go back to our back catalog and you listen to, for example, Gattaca, which is one of the episodes that we have covered, the Gattaca influenced a couple of laws, international laws that were signed because someone was smart enough to recognize, okay, this is an issue that could happen. Let's prevent it. So it makes me really happy that at least a government in this planet is recognizing the power of what a sci-fi is as a thought experiment.
Well, governments are renowned for stop-gapping or knee-jerking to new technologies because they get blindsided by them. And it's really good to see some forward-thinking politicians actually going, well, hey, these people are always thinking about the future. They're area experts. Let's get them involved. Well done. You actually talk to the people who've thought about this.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Even if it's sci-fi, there is psychological things about our behavior as humans that are very scientifically proven anyways. There are very real things within the sci-fi stories that people have to tell, being a thought experiment, you can literally just simulate what an utopia will be and things that might have been needed to keep these new changes not shattering everything on its path, you know?
Yeah, so basically this one's specifically talking about self-driving cars going haywire, trapping people inside and things like that. So they're sort of trying to imagine all the possible problems with self-driving cars and how they deal with them. And they asked the sci-fi writers, well, how would you deal with it? And, got some good ideas that they wouldn't have come up with themselves because they're not thinkers.
Yeah.
Sci-fi power.
Yeah. A win for sci-fi writers.
Yeah, that is definitely a win, not just for sci-fi writers, but sci-fi as a whole.
That's right.
We're back.
Woohoo! Hey, and you're moving like people.
We're just going to use the phone. That's it, my boy.
So
you're shining like stars.
There you go. There you go. I think the problem is that we can't be chasing stars. They're way too fast.
Yeah, that's right.
That is fast.
That's the problem.
I'm waiting for them to run around in the background. They're sort of going like this. Or is that too literal?
That might be a bit too literal.
We ain't cats.
Nice. Okay, so it seems like you're fixed. So let's go back and take another stab at that question. All about your band and where are you guys?
For the 7th time today. All right, guys. So we're Chasing Stars. We've probably been a band for maybe a little under a month. Our first single was Falling, which came out maybe like 3 weeks ago, I think, after we recorded in the studio. And one of the problems that I ran into after recording it in the studio, it was me and my guitar player, Dez, who I play bass for in a band called A Moment of Violence. I know it sounds death metal, but it's not. It's like hard rock. So we recorded the song and it got mixed, it got done, and then we started putting it out into the world, and he started sending it out to like radio stations and like different label owners, and people just had so many eyes on the track that I'm like, well, now we got to kind of rush to get things going because we can't just like let the momentum die down, So we made the website. Falling is on there. You can see that on the link on the bios, or if you hit the QR code that Rob put up, you can find it there. You'll be able to listen to it. If you sign up to the emailing list, then you'll be able to download it. You can put it and add it into your Spotify. We are working on the Spotify. Currently, it's getting made right now. It's not going to be dropped officially until the 7th, which I think is a Friday. Usually music releases on Friday. It'll be out on the 7th, and then from there we keep doing stuff. We have like 4 or 5 songs really done. We're just kind of waiting for everything to fall in place to put it out on Spotify.
Awesome. So if you guys are wondering, starting with this episode, you're going to see Chasing Stars within the credit of this show because they're still the creators of the music. So you're going to be seeing going forward in season 2 and every episode, starting with this one, the website and the name Chasing Stars within the credits of the episode. So thank you guys for being here and for letting us play your music on the show. It was amazing.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you for having us.
So okay, so let me see. I guess we can go in to another segment. Should we go to another segment? It's another segment. I think is this one.
Shout out.
Did it work?
And for these shout outs, no, it didn't work, man. It didn't work. For these shout outs, I wanted to give a special welcome to our new subscribers on YouTube, Donna Lang, Xaucedo, and Sam Kiselman. Welcome to the YouTube, guys. I hope that you guys enjoy what we're doing over there. I do it all goofy, all for you. And also, I wanted to give a special thank you to Bolt Q8N for the engagement that we had with him on our episode about evolution. Great movie and awesome episode to record, actually, that we had.
Yeah.
And in Discord, we have Dopa and ISBM. Welcome to our Discord. That's where we usually are more active for the day. Robert was making fun of me because I even fall asleep on the stream. So you can go and see me sleeping. I'm not a cute e-girl, but you can catch me sleeping sometime there on the stream.
I gotta tell the audience, because if I tell the audience, maybe they'll join Discord just for this, right?
Yeah.
So occasionally, you might join, and you'll see that we have watch parties. Occasionally, we do fly with a host. This is where I use a flight simulator, and you can kind of come fly with me, right? And then we also have the watch parties where we actually go and watch something, and everybody here is invited. So if you are not in Discord, you might want to join for that. And they come. We don't have a specific time frame, so just be on the lookout, because we'll put the announcement, and all of a sudden we're there. Now, curious thing is, one day, yeah, I'm always on the Discord. I noticed that the stream was open, so me being part of the, one of the hosts here, I go and connect, and I see a foot. I see a foot, and I'm like,
did it have eyes and a mouth drawn on it? Because that would have been cool.
No, just a foot. And I go, dude, can you hear me? Hello? I'll be probably 2 minutes on it, And I'm like, oh, I shut up for a minute, and I can hear in the background.
My voice
was snoring. How does a foot snore?
So yes, it's our very own Captain Chaos. He was doing a watch party. He fell asleep, and I don't know how many hours.
He's doing a recreation, reenactment.
If you're not in YouTube, you're missing it out again. He's doing it. He's doing it for us. So yeah, if you're not on our Discord, this is the kind of stuff that you're gonna miss. So just join, right? It's totally amazing.
Don't be too mean on him. I mean, I know how hard it is when your sleep pattern gets messed up. I was up late last night, and I was really hungry, so I was sort of having trouble getting to sleep, and I was eating too much. I think I might have had insomnia.
Oh.
Oh, I pretty much when I want to fall asleep for sure, and this is not healthy, guys, but I just eat a lot. Just eat a lot, and then I get heavy and I fall asleep.
So yeah, I'm just mentioning this, just if so if you're curious, what goes on in our Discord. There's a lot of stuff goes on, so it's all cool, it's all really fun. So join.
Was it like a futuristic foot or just like a regular foot?
I keep on telling him that should be reserved for only Geons, but
There you go.
I got cute feet.
That is a particular fetish.
There you go, man.
So I think we are ready for another segment that I call
the Alita Army News.
The Christmas edition. Ho ho ho.
Santa sounds like that. I'm sending him back. No.
Well, I thought for a second, like, what happens to dyslexic kids when they write to Satan instead of Santa?
There is a movie. There is a movie. It is hilarious. It's Jack Black.
Yeah, that's a new one, right?
Yeah, Satan claws.
Yeah, Satan.
So, Miguel and Tyler, here's a little test for you. Do you know about the movie Alita Battle Angel?
I don't. I know you've been telling me for years, but I never got around to watching it.
I've never heard of
it.
I forget.
Look, you are surrounded by Alita Army members. March on you.
I'm sorry, Alita Army members. I am a pleb. I'm sorry.
Do you like Cyberpunk?
Yeah, I like Cyberpunk.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's a dystopian Cyberpunk movie.
Yeah, you're gonna love Alita. If you like Cyberpunk, you're gonna love it.
There you go.
Check it out. She's awesome.
Yeah, I gotta check it. I know you've been telling me for a while to watch it. And it's like every time I'm like, oh yeah, let me get that. And I forget the name and I do something else. Yeah, I'm the worst.
Write it down.
Alita, give me my notebook. There you go. I'm actually write it down. Look, I'm not even kidding. I actually have all my notes here.
Excellent. It'll be on the test the next time you come on the show.
And that was the last time we saw Mix.
They'll be back. They'll be back.
Yeah, I if you like cyberpunk, you're definitely gonna love it. It's a cyberpunk dream. The movie is amazing.
Yeah. It's a fantastic movie. I've watched it like 80 times. It is quite rewatchable. And I even found out something new yesterday. I'm like, really? There's something else to know.
Mick, I don't know if this means anything to you, Mix, but my parents love that movie. I don't know if that means anything to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. His mom's favorite movie. Wait. His mom's favorite movie is A Night at the Roxbury, bro. Come on.
Oh,
my favorite movie is A Night at the Roxbury.
That's his mom's favorite movie. That's Lola's favorite movie, bro.
That's what I strive to do, guys.
Awesome. So yeah, I just gotta mention that because
so anyway, there's this little movie called Alita Battle Angel, which has a very fervent following called the Alita Army, and I'm one of the influencers for that group, and we have a live stream every Saturday afternoon, US Eastern. We're up to episode 249. So we've been going for a while now, 5 years. And the topic this week was what now for Alita in 2025? So we've been chasing a sequel. Unfortunately, Disney has the rights because they bought 20th Century Fox, which was the studio that the movie was made under. And then it got absorbed by Disney. And Disney's been very difficult with IPs that they don't have the creative control over, because James Cameron, or Jim Cameron, as some people call him, has the creative control.
James Cameron.
I have a message for Disney. Can I say it?
Sure.
I got a message for Disney.
Disney, if you're listening to us right now, make Alita 2 now.
Yeah, so I got to ask you, because that's pretty interesting. So you've been doing the Alita Army for 5 years.
Yeah.
Is Alita? It's just a movie. It's not like a TV series or anything.
Oh no, there's a manga going on for more than 20 years.
The manga is the source material, and it's been going for over 30 years.
Wow. Okay, that's what I was going to ask. I'm like, damn, if you have 5 years on one movie, then damn, my boy, you killed it.
No.
And
they have an anime too, an OVA that they made back in 90s, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You can actually find it on YouTube. The anime version, it's less than an hour, I think.
It's called Rusty Angel.
Mm-hmm.
They never did anything until the movie. The movie's great, man. The movie will give you a great background. You're gonna enjoy it for sure.
So, is it one of those movies where like the movie is like way better than the comic, or is it just as good as the comic?
It's different, mainly because the movie is PG-13, so they had to water it down a bit. The manga is pretty damn brutal, like people's brains getting knocked out of their heads and exploding.
That's essential.
Like
that's essential part of cyberpunk too, if you think about it, right, Ray?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you compare it to the last episode of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, it's got about the same body count per chapter.
But not only that, but if you look at all cyberpunk genres, Blade Runner, Cyberpunk 2077, the Edge Runner series, more classics that are cyberpunk, the brutality and the gore, it's normal because it's kind of like trying to reflect that humanity kind of pulls away from its roots and it becomes desensitized to these things in this future where violence is so easy.
What you lose for humanity if you can just replace a limb. Yep. You know what I mean? Like you could destroy your body and then transport your brain into a robotic, then humans are it's non-important, right?
Let me know when that happens.
It actually happens in the latter part of the movie.
No. It's in real life, so that way.
Yeah. Right.
I just be an android, bro.
Gio wants to be the first android.
Can I join them?
I'm 1% cyborg.
There you go. There you go.
No, that's just the same as a house alarm for your diabetes. Intruder! Your sugar levels are high.
Anyway, so we were discussing topics like greenlight announcement, the possibilities of anime, games. I think games are actually probably a good way to test the waters. I think that's the one that I'd focus on in 2025, getting a game out and seeing how popular it was.
Awesome.
Alita Battle Angel, the movie, came out on Netflix in October last year. It had only been on Disney Plus and Hulu before that. So it got some serious traction on Netflix, and it's Netflix International, not US. So you can't actually see it in Netflix in the US, but if you use a VPN, you can, if you have Netflix.
Isn't it in Disney? I think it is in Disney.
It's on Disney Plus. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, hang on. It's not on Disney Plus.
No.
In the US, it's only in Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Only Hulu.
Only Hulu.
But it's on Disney Plus in Australia and also Netflix.
Nice.
Confusing, I know. But yeah, we were talking about all the possibilities of things that could show up in this year. And my sort of hope is that they'll consider a game, because it's huge gaming fodder that they're just sort of ignoring. And a game would be cheaper and quicker to produce and would give them some more data points about how popular the IP is. And that might push them towards a movie. So that's what I was thinking about.
They had to bring Rosa as a voice actor.
Definitely.
They have to. It's not the same without Rosa.
That's right. She was awesome. But yeah, check out Alita Battle Angel if you haven't seen it already.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I got to check it out. Definitely.
So I guess we're ready. I am ready, but I don't feel ready.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh, yes. So if you, again, I'm going to have to say this again. If you're not on our Discord, you missed out a great watch party. We're actually watching this movie. We usually do this. We watch the thing we're going to cover typically on the day that we record. So if you're interested, just join our Discord and you'll see that watch party announcement. So before we get too deep into it, Matt signed.
That's what she said.
Before we get a lot more into this conversation,
before it gets rough,
Matt signed. We have the plot.
Yeah, we do have the plot. So it's quite a long plot, but if you wanted a one line plot,
yes, please.
Flynn becomes such a wimp, but his son woke him up. The end. That's the really short plot.
Love it.
Oh, nice. And roll
but exactly. But I'll give you the longer plot.
I'm rich. I got too much money. I don't know what to do with it. I'm sorry.
In 1989, Kevin Flynn, who was promoted to CEO of Encom International 7 years earlier, he disappears. 20 years later, his son Sam, now Encom's primary shareholder, pranks the corporation by releasing the company's signature operating system online for free during their shareholders meeting. Encom executive Alan Brady, Kevin's old friend, approves of this, believing it aligns with Flynn's ideals of free software. Nonetheless, Sam is arrested for trespassing on the company he owns the majority share in. Interesting. Alan posts bail for Sam and tells him of a pager message originating from Flynn's shuttered video arcade. After being disconnected for 20 years, there Sam discovers a hidden basement with a large computer and laser, which suddenly digitizes and downloads him into the grid, a virtual reality created by Kevin. He is captured and sent to the games, where he must fight a masked computer program named Rinsler. When Sam is injured and bleeds, Rinsler realizes Sam is human or a user. He takes Sam to Clue, the grid's corrupt ruling program, who resembles a young Kevin. That's Kevin Flynn. Clue nearly kills Sam in a light cycle match, but Sam is rescued by Cora, an apprentice of Flynn, who shows him Kevin's hideout outside of Clue's territory. Kevin explains that he's been working to create a perfect computer system and had appointed Clue and a security program, Tron, as its co-creators. The trio discovered a species of naturally occurring isomorphic algorithms, or ISOs, with the potential to resolve various natural mysteries. Clue, considering them an aberration, betrayed Kevin, killed Tron, and destroyed the ISOs. No, Avira, I don't want you popping up right in the middle of my bloody plot. Oh, go away. Oh, I hate antivirus software that decides, oh, now's a great time. No, it's not.
They behave like a virus.
It does.
Ain't that
It
ironic?
does, exactly. Clue, considering them an aberration, betrays Kevin, kills Tron, and destroys the ISOs. It was a good day for Clue. It wasn't a good day for them, for the grid. The portal permitting travel between the two worlds closed, leaving Kevin trapped in the system. Clue sent a message to Alan, hoping to lure him into the grid, though Sam serves his purpose just as well, and reopens the portal for a limited time. Since Flynn's identity disc is the master key to the grid and the only way to traverse the portal, Clue expects Sam to bring Kevin to the portal so he can take Flynn's disc, go through the portal himself, and impose his ideal of perfection on the human world, because we all know that the human world is far from perfect. Against his father's wishes, Sam returns to Clue's territory to find Zeus, a program who can provide safe passage to the portal. At the end of Line Club, now that really should have been a hint, the owner reveals himself to be Zeus, then betrays Sam to Clue's guards. In the resulting fight, Kevin rescues his son, but Cora is injured and Zeus gains possession of Flynn's disc. Zeus attempts to bargain with Clue over the disc, but Clue instead destroys the club and along with it Zeus, because Clue's a bastard. Kevin and Sam stow away aboard the Solar Sailor transport system, which was a really nice callback, I've got to say, where Flynn restores Cora and reveals her to be the last surviving ISO. The transport is intercepted by Clue's warship. As a diversion, Cora allows herself to be captured by Rinsler, who Kevin recognizes as Tron, and not killed by Clue, but rather reprogrammed. Sam reclaims Flynn's disc and rescues Cora, while Kevin takes control of a light fighter. Clue, Rinsler, and several guards pursue the trio in light jets. Rinsler remembers his past as Tron and deliberately collides with Clue's light jet, then falls to the sea of simulation below. Clue confronts the others at the portal, but Kevin reintegrates with his digital duplicate, destroying Clue along with himself. Cora, having switched discs with Kevin, gives Flynn's disc to Sam, and they escape together to the real world as an ensuing explosion from Kevin's disc Kevin's sacrifice levels the sea of simulation. In Flynn's arcade, Sam backs up and deactivates the system. He then tells a waiting Alan that he plans to retake control of Encon, naming Alan as chairman of the board. Sam departs on his motorcycle with Cora as the sun rises. Cue credits.
This was an awesome freaking movie. And we're about to hear our thoughts, because everybody's going to have here a complete different opinion. But if you guys...
Thoughts.
Yeah, there you go. But before we get into the conversation, I did good in remembering a question that we normally ask in the beginning of every episode that sometimes I forget. And the question is, how old were you when you watched this for the first time? And what was your very first impression? This is ignoring everything else after, just your very first impression. So I don't know if you guys want me to go first, or any of you want to go first?
Oh shit, we'll go first. That's fine. I don't remember exactly the year. I just remember that I watched it in the movie theater, and I had a friend of mine who was really big into movies. I probably 2000, probably yeah. I probably went to the theater to watch this about 5 or 6 times.
Nice.
So, but even then, like after not watching it for so long, I've watched it 3 times in the last day. So a lot of things came back. But yeah, no, it was a great movie. But I watched it when it came out in theaters.
Nice.
Yeah, that was also the same. I did also watch it in the theaters. Granted, I was 8 when it came out,
Wow.
so I don't remember a lot of it. I am a very young lad, so I just remember loving the neon lights, especially the aesthetics, because I've never heard of Tron before I saw that movie, and I fell in love. And I think I watched the original one later that day after I watched the Legacy.
Awesome.
Nice.
So you watched the Roblox version?
Yeah. Let's say Blockbuster was closed by then, so I think it was Redbox. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say also what got me into watching Tron wasn't really Tron itself. I used to be into this game called Kingdom Hearts, and there was a world of Tron inside the game. And that's what got me into like, oh, well, this is cool. I never heard of this before. You know, it was before my time. So yeah, that's what got me. I heard Tron, and I'm like, oh, that was in Kingdom Hearts. Maybe I should go watch the movie and see what it's about. I had no idea it was an original one until years after.
Oh, nice,
Wow.
nice.
Okay, so who wants to go next?
I'll go next because I have a funny story, and it's that I hadn't watched it, not in the movies or anything. I know that it existed, and then Robert knew that I haven't watched none of them, so he had me watch the original and then the new one, and then later on myself, I discovered that animated series, Tron Rising, and yeah, bro, I like this. This series is like one of my favorite things, like cult classics. And if you think about it, even the new one is becoming a classic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kind of welds perfectly with the story.
Almost 15 years. That's amazing.
But yeah, it hasn't been 5 years that I watched it, probably 5-6 years.
And you know we're getting another Tron sequel this year.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Oh shit, nice.
Yeah, new Tron movie.
I am dying for that. Dying for that.
And the main character is Jared Leto.
He did a good role. He did a good role as a villain in 2029.
Yes, he did. I was amazed. That was amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, he did it on the animated series too, which is a prequel.
He was also there. Yeah.
I was really surprised. That was a really good villain.
And the animated series was good.
Yes, it was really good.
It's just 2049 sucked.
Yeah, it was also good. Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to go next? Should I go, or you want to go? Right.
Oh, you can go, Robert.
Okay. So mine is a little longer story, and it starts back when the original Tron movie. Basically, my youth, and this is something that is kind of a mystery to me as an adult now. I used to go clubbing, yet I spend all my nights in the computer programming, coding. How did I get all that time? I don't understand. And
you didn't sleep.
I don't know. I mean, I barely fight to get a little time to go play now. And when I was younger, I'm programming, I'm playing games, I'm go dancing, I go with my friends. It's like, I guess youth is that, you know? But I digress.
You're
Within
just
my family,
slow now. It's okay.
yeah, maybe I'm a little slow, you know. I am 54, so you know, things. But here's the thing. In my family, there was a joke because I spend so much time on the computer. I mean, just so I can date myself, I convinced my dad to get a phone line just so I can connect it to the computer, and I actually coded a bulletin board. And I was so excited that I can have a chat conversation online with a second person. Just one more person. Okay.
Holy crap.
I should date myself, right? And so that was the kind of stuff I do. Playing video games. I coded some of the games too. So I spent a lot of time on my youth in the computer. And the joke that was in my family is my dad would open the door and find me coding again, and it's like, you're in the computer so much, the computer's going to suck you in, and you're just going to be inside. You know what parents usually try to scare you,
and I just got Robert more into it.
Exactly.
hoping that one day
Now,
he'll
fast
get
forward
That's
to the
You spend so much time on the computer, Robbie. You should marry it.
It depends on the
coming
website.
soon.
It depends on
We're
the
not there
website.
yet.
that is
We
very
all
said
know why he was in
marry.
front of the
I
computer.
said marry. I didn't go any further. That's Geo's territory.
well.
I was
Remember,
looking at 30 megapixels at what 6 megapixels of Tetons.
and waiting an hour for it to populate.
but it was what do you say? It was worth it. You know, after it happened, you
It
were
was
like,
worth it.
wow.
Loading at 16 pixels a second or a minute or something.
Once you got it, it was like a reward. Like, oh my god.
Man, waiting for those nipples
I
to
had a
load.
56
9600 borders
modem.
lightning.
Okay, 56 kbps modem.
Yeah.
Just imagine that. Okay, so fast forward.
It's tragic.
Very tragic. Fast forward when this movie was released, I felt vindicated because now I wanted to be inside the computer because of what I saw on the screen. Now, why this movie, the one that we covered today, Legacy, is because this story of Tron is a story that I love so much. Partly because, what I just mentioned, I was really into computer. It's actually kind of like I guess it's a youth dream of, I spend so much in the computer. I wish I could be inside, those kind of stupid thoughts that you have as a kid. But regardless, it had a lot of sentimental and nostalgic values for me. So when they announced Tron Legacy, I was over the moon. Because if you calculate how long in between the movies we had to wait, the original movie was what 1980.
28 years.
Exactly.
82.
I've been waiting all that time for a continuation to the story. So yes, I went to the theaters.
It was an overdue sequel.
Yes, exactly. So I totally love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still have love for the original. It is a classic. And I was really happy to see that they were able to continue the film and not ruin it. Because the way that I look at it now is kind of like how I look the two Battlestar Galacticas, the original and the 2000. To me, I love both of them. And to me, they're just its own thing. And this is basically how I feel about this movie, the original versus the one that we covered today. So I like the aesthetics, the music, everything just captivated me. It just kept me in my seat. And again, we'll talk about the multiple times that I rewatched this, but I'm just kind of trying to encapsulate just the very first time that I watched this, which was in the theaters, and the experience was very, very captivating for me. So I do agree with Tyler when he said the aesthetics of this film. I'm thinking about it, and I don't think there's something quite like this. But one thing that I do recall, and is true today, is the aesthetics. They are very reminiscent to cyberpunk.
Yes.
Technically, it's not cyberpunk, but it's very reminiscent to cyberpunk. So that is my first impression of the film.
Mhm.
So, there was a lot of conversation on today's watch party, which, by the way, Miguel was able to make it. Sorry you couldn't make it, Tyler, but it was a lot of fun.
No, I was in the room. I was in the room with him.
Oh, you were okay.
Yeah, he's been here all day.
Okay. Yeah, there was a lot of good conversation. And again, we're going to spoil the crap out of it. So I guess should I tell the audience to just
give us a spoiler warning. Yeah.
pause us. Like I normally say this. Just go pause us right now. We are long format, so we won't be mad. We'll be waiting. And you could do two things, right? First thing is go to chasingstars.com, sign up for the newsletter, listen to the song, and then once you're done with that, go into Disney, pull up the Tron Legacy movie, watch it. It's about 2 hours. And when you're done, then come back to us. We'll definitely be waiting here.
And of course, if you haven't watched the first movie, go watch that first because it's way better to watch them in order. Also on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Everything Tron is on Disney Plus.
Because it's definitely a Disney product.
Mm.
So, okay. One of the questions.
Don't I get to answer the question? Haha, I tricked you. You always used to go last. I tricked you.
Yes, you did. You definitely did.
He's getting old.
I think it's about time you get me, right? Because I always
You selfish skank.
I always try to get you both. So I think it's only fair.
Yeah, it sure is.
Although I was not successful, Gio, but there you go.
One for me.
Somebody had to fall.
One for the win. So one of the conversations and that we were having on the Discord watch party relates to Quora. So this is something that I wanted to say on the stream, but I figure I didn't because there was one person in the stream that has not watched the film before. I didn't want to ruin it with the spoilers. But I'll spoil the crap in this show because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So, Quora. Remember the conversation, Gio? We were talking about how she was an AI. And I said, I'm going to have to tell you my opinion, but she kind of blows my mind because of what she is. And I couldn't really explain exactly because I didn't want to spoil the movie for the person that was on the stream.
Okay.
So let me see something here. Before we go there, and I just want you to keep that in mind because that's exactly what happened in the stream, right? I told you that, and I kept my mouth shut. We finished the stream, and I still didn't say anything. But before we
that must have been hard.
Yes, I still want to say it. I still want to say it. So before we move on, we got to finish the end of the segment for the first question that we normally ask in the show. And I told you this is what we do in the show. We there's no rails. We derail completely.
Always usually Gio that has that honor, though.
Exactly. So, Ray, let's go ahead and go into your answer to that question. But Ray, you should be proud that we at least got around to the question.
Yeah, I suppose we should.
How many times have we just go past it?
Oh, we go past all sorts of things, then we have to circle back.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm sort of racking my brain trying to remember. I don't think I saw it at the cinema. So this is 2010. It was the year I got married for the second time. So I was probably busy doing that and I missed it. I do remember picking it up on DVD probably the following year. And I think I missed all the announcements and everything. So I was like, saw it on the thing and went, oh, it's got Tron, but it's not the original Tron. Oh, I'll give this a look. And I remember watching it and thinking, is this going to suffer the same fate as all those movies that they wait too long to do a sequel and then the actors are too old and then the story suffers because the actors aren't at the right age to make it work? But it really did actually feel like they managed to make it work logically for what happened in the movie. So I was pleased to find that made sense. I felt that the ending was a little bit soft. They could have done something a little bit punchier with the ending. I mean, like you look at what I consider as almost a perfect movie, The Matrix. The ending of The Matrix was pretty damn good when he took off after finishing his phone conversation. He flies up towards the camera. It's like, okay, the dude is like space Jesus. He's pretty freaking tough. So that sort of gave a good punctuation to the end of the movie. And this movie kind of felt like it should have gone somewhere, but it hasn't. Now, it did kind of feel like it left it open, and it'll be interesting to see how Tron Ares picks up the story. So I'm looking forward to that, actually, to see if it flows well from the second movie or whether it just goes off in a completely random direction because of the whys and wherefores of the script writers. So it'll be good to see. But yeah, I kind of felt like the ending was a little bit soft, but I do feel it was well paced, and it told a good story. I really kind of felt like Flynn just went completely flaccid and just wasn't much of a character. And the fact that Tron wasn't Tron, basically. So calling it Tron was kind of like, what? But I mean, to link it to the first movie, you had to call it Tron. But yeah, what they did with the Tron character seems a little bit weird. Just in that they called it Tron, but it didn't follow Tron. So
I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and I'm going to mention this because I want to get your thoughts on this, especially you, Ray. I think they tried to make it with a name. So if you notice, the name of the movie is called Tron Legacy. So it kind of makes sense to me when I watch it for the first time, where we're basically just watching his legacy and not necessarily him, which I do agree with you. I'm slightly bummed because I waited so long for the Tron, and now Tron is a bad guy.
Well, technically, Tron's not even the main character. It's Flynn. Tron's he wasn't the main character in the first game. He was just basically the helper. He was just a side character. It was always Kevin who was the main character. So it doesn't also make sense that the original is called Tron, even though he's not the main character. He's just basically the security of the system. He's the security of the game.
Well, Tron had the mission to deal with the MCP, and Flynn was just helping him out because he wanted to get back home.
Because that was what originally Tron was programmed for. He was to make sure that no AI had full control, basically.
But their plan was to release the Tron program and get it to stop the MCP. That was their plan. So he was integral to the plan. It's just that Flynn wasn't expecting to get sucked into a computer because it wasn't, like a Tuesday. It was special. So
but not following the program, following the movie storyline wise, Flynn is technically the main character.
Technically, yes, but Tron is also quite the focal point for their plan. So at least he had a starring role. He wasn't necessarily the MC, though, that we were always following. So I get your point.
Yeah.
Tron as a character had a lot more to do with movie 1 than he did as Tron the character in movie 2.
Yeah, I think there was maybe 3 scenes with Tron in it, maybe 4.
Yeah.
But they explained it with the flashback. They explained why, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got programmed and
got reprogrammed. Yeah. I mean,
you find out elaborate a little bit on that part, though.
I think that by the end, you can see that the file was corrupted, though, because he was able to go back to the backup data.
Something interesting, and I don't know if you guys catch it. Every time you hear Tron, there was some kind of winding sound. I think that would be the closest thing that I can call it. And when he jumped into the water, and he's flickering out this red, his red lighting is flickering out, and when it completely fizzes out, the whining stops, and then he switches to blue, and that's how he turns into Tron. But if you notice that winding sound stopped, So I think that was a clever way from the producers of the show or the creators of this visual, representation of the story, that this is the moment that his reprogrammed stopped and he became the original source code. But I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I didn't notice the winding, I'm kind of on the fence of like, yeah, they kind of left the movie really really open. So hopefully there's more clarification on the third one. I don't think they wanted to just be like, okay, this is Tron, it's black and white, because they knew the movie has a good following. So maybe on the next one we'll get more of a clarity, and maybe it'll be like a definite like this is the end, or they might leave it open again for all we know. You know, you never know. But I didn't notice the winding noise, but I wish they would have clarified a little bit more how he managed to turn him that way. How Clue managed to turn Tron that way.
It was with this disc, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
the memory disc is basically your whole personality. So if you edit it, you edit the person.
Yeah.
I think that's how it was. Yeah.
You get some more insight into that in Tron Uprising.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I need a girlfriend with one of those.
But yeah, Tron Uprising. We can kind of see in this movie too. You get a better understanding in the anime. But if you remember when Quora, her arm was broken, and he took the disc and he kind of like, he didn't technically reprogram. He kind of just looked at the code and recognized the virus, if you want to call it that, removed it, and then put the disc back on. But it would be something along those lines, and how everything is collected on the disc. Now, to answer your question, and I guess to follow up on what Ray was saying as his answer to his question, something that I feel will play a big part, and this is just my thought, I want to see what you guys think, is that what's going to be integral to the second movie for this, in my opinion, is the introduction and of the character of Edward Dillinger II. So if you're familiar with the first movie, he was the person, basically the main villain, the person that was the head of MCON. And we get to see his son at the very beginning of this film. And he is very capable as a programmer, as we could see when the code got hacked and it was leaked to the world. He was able to reverse everything back. So I have a feeling, and I think, just my thought here, and you guys can tell me if you agree or disagree, but I think he is going to turn to be the bad guy for the next film.
They better bring back Cillian Murphy then, because that's who it was.
Well, I'm just looking at the cast here for Tron Ares, and there's a fellow named Evan Peters playing Julian Dillinger. So I don't know if this is yet another son or what the deal is.
Wow. I'm surprised.
You know, now that you brought that up, do you think that for the next movie, they're probably Kevin isn't going to be there because he might be too old? They might just like
no, Jeff Bridges is listed as Kevin Flynn, so unless it's flashbacks.
Flashbacks, or he might not have died at the end.
Remember because
she said he might not survive it, but he was just the only thing that he did at the end that he fused back with Clue.
Yeah,
he reintegrated with him. Yeah.
He brought it back into
technically. If you remember
exactly
him back in the first movie, they thought he was going to de-res, but he didn't.
Maybe that's why he was flaccid.
Maybe another thing is, didn't Sam take his data disk out to the world, so technically there would be a version of him that still exists?
Yeah. I think that's what he was copying onto that little disc that he put on his necklace.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a backup of him, basically.
Yeah. Dad will always be with me on this trip.
One question that I'm going to ask.
Robert, your question about AI, and you telling me about the origins of Korra.
Okay, I'm gonna go to that. But I'm gonna do a question on behalf of you that you want to know. If the audience know where is the Flint arcade, please let us know because Gio wants to go.
I mean, the closest thing I know in Florida is the Glitch Arcade in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, that place sucks.
I know
No,
it sucks, but it's like you're close enough.
He wants to go to Flint arcade. That's it.
We could change the name for a day. That's fine. We can just walk in and call it Flynn's Arcade. They got good pizza.
Better than Chuck E. Cheese?
Ooh. I mean, to be honest, I think any pizza is better than Chuck E. Cheese.
No Little Caesars, bro. you can always go lower.
That no tomato sauce having ass pizza.
I just want to know how they got the Avatar into the digital realm. If you've watched the second season of Avatar, the animation, it's Korra is the name of the new Avatar after the Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
And that goes on way longer than the original Avatar.
It sure does.
I don't think that's the same person.
Nope.
Man. This Korra looks cool.
Oh, okay. She's got that weird haircut that sort of goes down over one side of.
She's not impulsive.
But she has a really good supportive cast, though.
So I think I'm not going to put this weight onto the actual answer. I think I have Captain Chaos on its toes, so I think I need to answer before he wails on me here. But the answer to the question about Quora, not necessarily his technically her origins, yes.
Drum roll.
But I wanna get your thoughts on this now. So we get a glimpse of this on the scene where Flynn is actually fixing her corrupted file. This is the part after she had her arm cut off by in the last line. Was it the last line? The nightclub where Daft Punk was.
The end of the line club.
End of the line. Yeah.
If you noticed, Quota's DNA strand, I don't know if you kind of pay a little close attention to when they were showing the DNA strand. It was triple stranded. Do you notice that, Ray?
No, I didn't.
It's a triple stranded DNA. Now, why I said she blows my mind as a being, not the character itself, but her race. If you remember the story that Flynn was mentioning, he said that they came into existence. The conditions were just right, and these people just came to being. And very nice. Exactly. It is very reminiscent to humans. And this is what happened on Earth. Situations were just right for life to evolve, to come to be, and then evolved into what we come to be today. But I kind of find that a little clever that they wrote that into the story. Because that wasn't even part of the story that we got to see in the 80s. So this is basically the continuation and him being on that realm of existence. Now, why I said she blows my mind in the watch party is because we all know what AI is, right? And usually in this world, perfect, thank you. I wish you can find an image of the DNA strand so we can show, but we all know what AI is, but the AI in this film is not the AI that is in this. And the AI today is not the AI that we see in this film. The AI that we see in this film has reached singularity. However, it is still an AI. It is still developed and created by a human. So it had reached singularity, but it's still that the origins with someone's keyboard or whatever it is as an entry key for a computer. Why I said they quotas raised, what they call it, the IOs,
Yeah.
they are a being. They came to existence just like humans came to existence on Earth. So this is an AI that does not or did not evolved from human intervention. Now, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but just hearing myself talk about it, I just get goosebumps. It is very deep to me. So I didn't know if, number one, you guys get the deep meaning in the sentence that I just mentioned, or two, you realize this in the film.
I didn't realize the DNA strand, but now that you're showing it, yeah, I kind of saw it. I was just like, oh, it's another DNA strand. But I do kind of get the whole, like people, like let's say we right now we write a program, right? Let's say you decide to write that antivirus that you hate so much, it just pops up on your screen, and all of a sudden you're writing it down, and all of a sudden it pops up somewhere else in another world as like a person. I don't know. I mean, I kind of I was trying to find the words for it, but now that you say it, I'm kind of like, okay, now those are the right words that I was trying to say. But yeah,
What I think is even scarier, in my opinion, is that even the programmed codes were even afraid of it. And that's why they killed all the isotopes. I think that's what scares me more, that even the programmed ones were afraid of them.
Yes. And they were very naive. And I think that was their downfall, because I think they were truly a representation of a digital live being, because they came into existence, and in its creation, no one was involved. So you couldn't say, I don't think we can even call them AIs, because AI is a creation of humans. AI is a creation of someone coding a coding program to, like what they call it, ML, the actually learning program,
Machine learning. Yeah.
machine learning. So they learn and evolve and become what we get to see in this film after many iterations of them learning and interacting and evolving. But these IOs have no such interaction. They were not created from humans. They just automatically came. And I think that the fear that the normal AIs, and let's call them normal AIs, had with the IOs had to do with the fact that they see the potential that they have and how they have the power. Yet I think that the naive nature, and which makes sense when you have something freshly created. And let's not even go there. Let's go, for example, to a baby, right? What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to nurture. We're supposed to protect it. So and teach it and learn and provide an environment for it to grow, and it becomes something that would eventually be a part of society. The IOs never had that opportunity. They came into existence. They were, in essence, babies, and they didn't have anyone to protect them, and that's why they were basically genocide. Only one person remained. So that's why I said it's kind of like, wow, it just blew my mind as a story, that this is something that that happened in this world. And I was wondering if it's just because most cases it's just me. I overthink way too much. So
no, but I think you're kind of right. I think that the programs that were in Tron, like the regular AI, for example, it's called that. I think that they were just. It's almost like they were scared of the unpredictability of humanity, so they saw the IOs as the same thing, because the IOs are they're closer to humans than they are to a program. I mean, there were two IOs in the movie. One of them was Cora, and the other one was the guy that owned the end of the line bar.
Oh yes,
And if you look at the way that they behave, yeah, Zeus, and the way that they behave is completely different from the other ones, because the other ones just have a one-track mentality. This is my program. This is what I do. But then when you look at Zeus and Cora, they're just like, okay, they understand human emotion and how, like, for example, Cora knows how to read philosophy and stuff like that. So I think that that's what they were probably scared of, the unpredictability. For the perfect system to work, you can't have unpredictability.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Gio, that's what I wanted to say on the stream, and I couldn't because I didn't want to ruin it for.
Now about its creation. Do you think that they are a byproduct of something else going on in this space, or they really just happen?
Well, basically, what they said in the film, and again, we don't have much to go by. This story was written for this film. He said that the situation was just right, and they came into existence. So
Yeah, that sounds like an allegory to creation.
exactly. So he had no intervention with them. And as a matter of fact, they came from a place they hasn't been. They just showed up.
Now, do you think it's possible that
Yeah,
maybe they came into existence because him being a user and a human, being in that world, that the computer system was kind of like, hey, maybe we should just try to replicate this, and that's how they came into existence?
There's a lot to go by, and there's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to this film that we hope that it gets answered somehow. But that wouldn't surprise me at all. I would like to know, but it does make a lot of sense. What do you think, Ray, about that thought? Do you go in any? You switch to any of the bands, or?
Well, beyond the very original generation of biological matter, the first RNA, and this is all conjecture because nobody was there to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's conjectured from an evolution standpoint, and obviously, creationists have a different idea. But it's conjectured that if you have the right set of circumstances and the right catalyst, and a catalyst, as its basic description, is something that causes something else to happen that would either ordinarily happen really slowly or not at all, then you have the right circumstances and the right catalyst, you get the creation of biological life. But it's very simple, and it takes millions of years for it to develop into anything we would recognize today, even single cell bacteria and things like that. So, for these ISOs to have just into existence fully formed looking like programs doesn't really follow the understanding that we have of evolution and how things start very, very simple and take a long time to get complicated. These things just sort of popped into existence fully formed, and functioned like programs and wandered around and did their own thing with language and all those sorts of things involved. So I can't see them generating from random happenstance and evolving in the classic sense. I think they would have had to have copied other programs. They would have had to either been programs that had broken to pieces and then reformed into these ISOs, or some sort of system that ended up being modified or being broken and then ending up with the ability to examine other programs and then create new ones in their likeness, which is something that even Clue couldn't do. He could not create programs. So maybe that's why he hated the ISO so much.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And it's also scary.
Yes.
It's actually, that is actually the fear that they have, that we have of AI today. The fact that it would go in and create itself. And that's basically what happened in here. So even if we take that same thought that you mentioned, even at that point, which makes a lot more sense, it's still scary that they're able to do that. So,
I mean, the way that users were represented in both movies was that these are our creators. Actually getting to meet a user is like, wow. The gods walk among us kind of deal.
yeah.
So, I mean, Clue was an asshat, so he didn't react that way. But any standard program is like, I get to meet my user. It's like, I get to meet God.
Remember in the first movie, they didn't even believe in users. The ones who did, they were called religious nuts.
Yeah, well, they were trying. The MCP was trying to basically break that religious fervor of programs being loyal to their makers, to their writers, and make them loyal to itself. So it was basically trying to take the place of the users.
Yeah.
So that's why they were claiming that anybody that believed in the users was a heretic.
That didn't work out well for them, though. Did it?
Nope. No, it did not.
That's the funny thing. It's like they didn't realize that they took away a tyrant to put another one. And the funny thing is that the one that was before was not really a tyrant because he was not really exploiting the programs or anything.
Yeah, you got a point there.
It's like a story that I post that says, remember when you go and get something better and you don't appreciate what you have, and then you end up with something worse.
Yeah. You know, another thing that I'm you know, I wonder is when Jeff Bridges was, and I think he said this, right? When Jeff Bridges went in to be scanned, because they got to scan you so they can do the art, and then I think that's kind of what they did with the movie Alita. They scan you, they create, and then they're able to pin. They use the cameras to and the dots to kind of match up and make you movements. But the initial part of it, they got to scan your face. They got to come up with the actual art and how your face is going to end up looking like. In this case, is Jeff Bridges as a young man, because they wanted to show how he was back in the original movie. But it is kind of, should I say, Inception-like or meta? Maybe meta would be a better word. That's exactly what happened within the film, where he got scanned. The only difference is he got scanned and, entered the program. But in here, he just scanned to be on the CGI, so they can do the CGI so he can be in the film. I think he, and I'm reading something here that I was when I was doing my research. He says he realized the same thing happened to him fictionally in the Tron from 1982. Have you guys? And again, I think a lot. So again, this might be just me, but have you guys thought about that? I thought it was very meta of this film.
The only thing I can really think that, I mean, me and Tyler were kind of talking about, it's like, why does his face look so weird? And I never watched the original, so I wouldn't know why. But I'm like, why does this guy's face look like it's so like robotic? And I thought it was like done on purpose to kind of give him like that artificial look. But I would have never thought that, this was actually him from like the original, like the way that he looked. They just try to bring it back. That's probably the only thing I can really put on that, because we were talking about it too. We're like, what is his face like? His movements look so like synthetic and robotic, like. But now that you explained it, I understand why.
It makes more sense.
Yeah.
It was part of the early de-aging process. They got better at it later in the 20-teens.
Yeah.
20-teens.
And I kind of hope they, now that you mentioned he's on the next film, I kind of hope that they do a better job at that part, because that's one of the things that I found, and he has that uncanny valley. Every time you watch it, I always get that uncanny valley, the vibe from him. I wish that they could have done a better job, but the technology wasn't there.
Well, Clue's a copy of him that didn't age. So being a copy and being digital, looking a bit like uncanny valley, probably didn't hurt all that much.
Yes, that would have been awesome if we could see. Yeah, if we could see him. No, but we're talking about the scene when he was reading that.
Yeah. That doesn't work, does it?
So it would have been awesome if in that scene we see a de-aged Jeff Bridges, and then we cut to the film and we see the uncanny valley clue. That would have played into the story.
Yes, it would have. But unfortunately, in 2010, they didn't have the tech.
Yes.
And I mean, they didn't really have particularly good tech in 1982 to do a movie like this, but they did it anyway. So, you know, it's kind of like those watershed sci-fi special effects moments, like Last Starfighter. I mean, that when I originally saw that, it was like, oh wow, this is like I've never seen anything like it before. And now we look at it and go, oh wow, that did not age well.
Guys, real quick, I'll be right back. Tyler's got to go, so I'll be right back.
All right.
It was nice seeing you guys. It was great.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Thanks for having me.
So, what? I guess I want to ask one of the questions that we normally ask on this show around this time is, and this could be all the way from the first time you watch it to the last time you watch it, a combination of all the rewatches. What is the one scene, if you can pull one, that you just went, wow, you know, this is, and I have to admit, for this film, it's a little hard for me to answer that question because I mean I do have a scene, but for me it's a little hard to answer because I am such a fan of the IP, and the entire movie was just an answer to my prayers. So I was just in awe on the movie theater, sitting down on that chair, watching this big screen throughout the entire film. I was just giddy and happy because I finally got what I wanted. So do you have that one scene, or if you want to mention multiple scenes that you say, wow, this is the perfect, you know, this is an amazing scene. It could be music related. It could be visually related. And we can take turns. I don't know who wants to go first. I can go last if you guys like.
My favorite scene from the movie, it's hard to pick one, but I think that when they had the last battle with the motorcycles was pretty kick-ass. I liked how they said that they're faster than them, and I found kind of like interesting that when you look at throughout the movie, it doesn't matter what rank you are in, everybody fights with the same tools. So you don't get to see here what you see in video games or like in stories where the more you go up the ladder, the more difficult it gets. It's all about the skill level of the individual, but it doesn't like really exteriorize with a big armor and like it looks more threatening. Even Clue himself, which was like the tyrant in the throne, looked like just another fighter when it was time to be step on the Coliseum or in a battleground.
Yeah.
And I think that intricately kind of gives to the audience a sense of possibility, not of like despair or like, oh, this is like way too much for our heroes to really overcome, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, that's it.
I think that they did try to represent that when Rizzler was fighting with two frisbees of death. I tend to call them.
Yeah,
but I get what Gio means. I mean, they all had light cycles. I was a little bit bummed because they sort of pointed towards the classic light cycle that Flynn had, saying it was the fastest thing in the grid, and then he never used it to fight. He just drove it into the city and gave it away.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Kick ass.
Here you go. You're a lucky man.
Yeah,
bro. To the lengths that somebody will go just to say "I told you so."
Yeah, I thought the same thing too. I was like, man, you know, it'd be kind of cool if you actually use that thing, you know, instead of just like not, you know. But So what was the question again? So I could kind of catch up.
Oh, the question is, I know it's a hard question. I know I find it very hard myself, but throughout the entire movie, if you can pick one scene or multiple scenes that you say, wow, and it could be music related, it could be visually, it could be story wise, it could be anything. And this is a combination of all the rewatches from the very first time you watched it to the last time you watched it.
I mean, to be honest, like one of the first, my favorite scene is when they actually hit the end of the Line Club, and because my favorite track in the song is called D-Res, and it's from Daft Punk, so they only play it when that fight's going on. So I love when they when he's just like walking up the stairs, like, oh, jazz up all the all the people that are in here, and they put like Daft Punk in the background. They start playing D-Res, and the fight starts happening. I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Every time it happens, I just like stop it. And I mean, I watched it 3 times in the last day. So every time it would come on, I first watched it all the way through, no interruption. Then today I was putting it on. I'm like, oh, let me just put it in the background just so I like remember the lines or whatever. And the moment that she was talking about Zeus, I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this, and I just like stood there and watched it. And then we were watching it on the stream again. I was watching it during that part.
Nice.
That was an awesome thing, actually, man. Because when like everything goes silent before the fight start, and then Daft Punk, they just look at each other.
Yeah,
like it's on.
Did that give you Matrix vibes? That scene,
kind of.
It was giving me Matrix vibes.
Yeah,
because Matrix had a lot of really iconic music, clubby sort of music as well. So it sort of harked back to Matrix for me.
Not only that, but if you look at the whole premise, what are they trying to do in the movie? Escape out of the grid, the Matrix.
Yeah.
The whole movie has like Matrix kind of undertones to it, so it's if you look at them together, they kind of correlate a little bit.
Yes, very much.
Maybe this is what's happening inside, Smith's head.
No, Smith is more represented here by Clue.
You know what I'm saying? Inside his brain, the program.
No, they did mashed potatoes with that at the end of the movie. I mean, I've seen a man inside of another man, but a man inside of another man's head and getting out of there, it's messy.
Oh. Moving on. So
I had to ruin it sometime, right?
He already knew where this was going.
Yeah.
I'm in my best behavior, Robert, so you better be thankful.
So am I next? Who's next?
Or should I have a go because you always think you're last?
Yes, please.
I'm having trouble deciding between two. The first one is the initial what would you call it? Frisbee battles. Where they're throwing their discs of death at each other.
Yeah.
And when you saw them doing that in the original movie, which I'd watched a few hours before my rewatch of this movie, and then you see the updated version, it's like, holy shit, this is a whole nother level. And with the effects of the floor sections breaking and falling away.
Didn't you think, Ray? Oh my God, no more polygon tits. Yes.
That wasn't what I was focusing on, but anyway, moving on. So but it really sort of showed the distance of 28 years in the effects and the sort of the cyberpunk. Yes, thank you for the moving on. the sort of cyberpunk aesthetics, and how it had become all smooth and glassy and reflecty and glowy and it really felt a lot more futuristic than the original.
It looks like any other corporate building, right?
Where did you learn that move? Oh, on the top of the Encom Tower a couple of nights ago. Encom Tower?
My kid is rad. Yeah.
And the other scene that that sort of stuck with me was the Hitler moment.
Oh yes,
I just call it the Hitler moment.
The Hitler moment.
Because it was a Hitler moment. I'm telling you this right now.
It is ridiculous because he's giving this speech about freedom and whatever, and he just had all these soldiers commit genocide to another race that was really like part of them because they were from the same
It's
world.
not just that, dude. They were all various programs that had jobs to do and were happy doing their jobs, and he corrupted them and turned them into soldiers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's yapping on about freedom, and they have none.
Yep. But that's the best kind of crew you can have. The one that agrees with you everything, right?
Who was a megalomaniac?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's a program doing his job. So it's, that's why I think that there were certain parts where Sam would tell his dad, like, oh, well, he messed up, right before they got to the portal. He was telling him, like, oh, well, he messed up, the whole system. And he was like, no, he's a representation of me. And I think that's kind of cool because it kind of shows you, like, the wisdom that he got being in the system. Like, he had all this time alone to just think to himself. And, like, if you go back to the books that she was reading in the beginning that he was teaching Cora, they're all about, like, Dostoevsky and, like, I think they brought up Friedrich Nietzsche at one point.
Nietzsche.
So it was all these philosophy books, and I think he just kind of came to peace with, like, okay, well, he is a part of me that I at that time I didn't understand of myself until now. So that's why he never really blamed Clue for doing anything wrong. He was just seeing it as like, well, he's me. He was following my orders.
Well,
that's a crazy irony on this is that what he learned is not scientific, it's philosophical.
Yeah. Yeah, he never blamed him.
You would say right.
Human language is imprecise, and he was very imprecise when he gave Clue orders. He said, "We're going to change the world."
Yeah.
So Clue decided that meant that he had to break out of the grid and, make the world perfect in his idea of perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was following orders. He just wasn't interpreting them the same as they were given.
Yeah.
So
I think that's kind of cool too, because it's like at the same time when he built Clue, when he made Clue on that that screen that came out of the ground, it was like, does it really make you think? Like, he gave him the orders of, we're going to create the perfect system. Like, you are Clue, you are going to help me create the perfect system at that time, right? Would it have been any different if he would have had the wisdom that he had now and he would have told him the same thing?
Probably, because he copied himself at that time when he was younger and stupider. So
yeah, I would have to agree. I think and Flynn knew this because
that's a paradox of time. You know the outcome after it happens. There's no way,
Yeah.
That's the truth.
And Flynn knew this because at the end of the film we see him. He knows that he messed up, right? And giving him the orders, which makes me wonder as a programmer. That the program is just a series of logic gates, right?
How many programs have you created, Robert, and orphaned them after you abandoned them to discontinuity?
Quite a while, quite a lot, I would say. I can show you my list of programs that are just on a file there that I never continue writing.
They're not killing each other with their killer disk.
So, as a programmer, knowing that programs are basically how you could do around logic gates, right? And if you don't know what logic gates are, it's basically a gate that gives you a choice. So if this condition is met, you go through here. If this condition is met, then you go through here. Knowing this and how precise programming, actually the results of a program are, it makes me wonder. And I would have to agree with Ray that that's the only thing that makes sense to me is when we're young, we are a lot more less experienced with life. And that's the reason why we don't make smart decisions. And I think that is the only thing that makes sense to me as to why he never really thought about this, being a programmer and programming this, knowing that if you say something like, we're going to build a perfect world, it might be taken literally and not in the sense that he meant it when he mentioned it. So I do have to agree 100% with everything that was said just now.
Yeah, because you can think of the perfect world as like how Clue's vision of a perfect world would have been like, stringent, strict, very orderly. It's kind of like Japanese culture, really. Everything's like really strict, clean, super like, like to the point. But you can also think of the perfect world as like the way that Kevin wanted to make it, which was kind of the way of there's no disease, everybody's being helped out, civilization's taken care of. And I don't think that when he passed out onto Clue, I don't think that that's what he was, like you said, he meant the right thing, but he said it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
He left it open to interpretation.
Yeah, which is something you don't want to do with a program.
Yep.
You don't want to do that.
Especially when given that much power.
I mean, if you think about, and I can speak about this part on programming, whenever you program a program that is being used or is used by different people, right? And I have done a couple of those for my department. You have to take in account what they call garbage in, garbage out. So you got to protect the data coming into the program. So what happens? Now you got to think about, okay, this field takes a number, right? Now you got to start thinking someone out there is going to put letters. How can you protect that? Because is that going to break the program when it's trying to?
Thanks, algebra.
So now you got to make a kind of like a gate, if you think about that. If you enter a letter, it would say, please enter a number, right? And the opposite. There might be a field that it takes 3 numbers, not 4. So now you got to start thinking about all these different things and try to protect the system from the user as a programmer.
Damn those users.
And I think that's what you spend most of the time is in, like, you have an idea on how this program is going to work. Now you got to protect how the program is being used so it has the best possible results, because they're not going to blame the fact that you used a number when it's supposed to be a letter. They're going to say, you program it, this is wrong, this doesn't work, we're going to use something else. So
that explains TikTok today.
But I kind of forgot what I was going with that, but
don't ask us. You were the one with the point.
Yeah. It'll probably come back to me later, but I guess to answer the question, because I'm officially the last one, right? Everybody has had a go around. I think I have 2 things, right? And let's go for the less obvious first. I really like Jeff Bridges' performance on here because I feel, and not just in this film, I think in every film after he got older, he just brings the dude out. And I am all for it. I don't know if you guys notice. And for all of you out there who don't know who the dude is, you might want to go back and watch a non-sci-fi film called The Big Lebowski. And that's where we know who the dude is. And the dude is just like the name says. It's a cool dude. And if you notice throughout this film, he's just all I feel is the dude is there somewhere. So that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about the film. It's just we got the dude in there. The other thing, and I don't know, Miguel, have you watched Big Lebowski?
No, I've heard of it though. I didn't even know what it was about, but I've heard the name.
Yeah, I think you might enjoy that film. It's a comedy. It's a crime comedy. Let me say that. So the second part to my answer is, oh, there you go. The dude. It's so cool. And you see him here in this kind of GIF that Ray showed us just a minute ago, and I see Flynn. It's like he's it's the same. I don't know, the same vibe is what
He has dude vibes.
He's like Ferris Bueller's father.
Yeah, like when they followed the elevator, he's like, "Man, you're killing my Zen thing, man."
Yeah, that was so funny, man. That was one of the
that
best
is
lines.
the dude. I'm telling you. So the other part of this comes from a geeky place. It comes from a fandom. It comes from my love from the original IP, and I kind of like piggyback on something that Ray mentioned earlier that I don't think you explore too much. But to me, the favorite thing about this film is how the visual effects crew visualized what we saw in the first movie looks like in this film, and is totally freaking amazing. This is something that I didn't know I wanted to see. That and I'm gonna do a call out to the audience.
That's
If
what she
you're
said.
listening to this show, go ahead and put in, and you could probably Google it on. You could probably YouTube. Go into YouTube and find the original Tron disc scenes or disc fights, and then put in side by side with the disc fight here. And they were really cool for their time, and I really appreciated that when I watched it back in the 80s. But to see him reimagined, and I guess that's the word that I'm looking for, to see that whole thing being reimagined and make it, should I say real or more real? It was a total
more photo real.
Exactly. It just gave me goosebumps. And not only that, go ahead and do the cycle scenes on the original Tron and compare and do the side by side on YouTube. Have two windows, one side by side, one for the original Tron cycle, one for the legacy cycle. And oh my God, it is, and it's something that usually they would mess up, right? And we have tons and tons of remakes that don't make the cut because of this thing. And I think they did a great job. I don't know if it's because this was originally a Disney product and they had the original creators. I had no idea. But this one just worked. And it was a total treat to be able to see the cycles being reimagined in this way. The space paranoids, they were the coolest thing on the original, and to see them this, I mean, there may be one thing that I could say about the space paranoids is the exhaust coming out of the back. It's not needed. I mean, there's no air, but anyways, they were really cool. And jumping the train, that scene we see at the end of the original Tron, and you see the polygon, solar sail looking ship going through the beam of light, and we get to see that here too. I was
that
like,
was a great callback.
I was all over the moon because everything that we got to see on the original, it got reimagined on this film, and I'm all over for it. So
did you sort of catch the corollary of real life? So the original Frisbee, as it was released in the 80s, was just a circle of plastic with the edges bent down, right? And you throw it and it would because of centrifugal force, it would fly straight because you'd flick it and it'd spin. And then they came up with new versions of Frisbee, and one of them was, rather than a complete circle of plastic, it was a disc with a center cut out of it. And that was like the new frisbee, and it was actually easier for dogs to catch and stuff because it wasn't so much to get their mouth around, and it seemed to have a little bit more better aerodynamics because it had a forward edge rather than just a curve, and a backward edge, so it would be more aerodynamic and it was easier to do tricks with. So it was like an evolution of the frisbee, and then in this movie you get the new frisbees.
Yes.
And I thought that was a really nice little sort of callback to the evolution of the frisbee that it was shown.
I thought it was the murder frisbee.
The murder frisbees, yes.
Yeah, there was a few little parts where because I've been obviously after I watched the movie, you get like a few shorts on YouTube that come up about the movie and like facts about it. The game that Cora was showing Flynn in the beginning, where she's like, "Oh, his more patient strategy usually beats my more aggressive approach." Well, that's a game. I forgot the name of the game, but I saw in a short. I just remembered when you say that. What's the name of the game?
The name of the game is Go.
Go.
G-O.
Go. So she says, I have a hard time beating him because he's more patient and I usually have a more aggressive strategy. That's actually something that happens in real life. The computers can't beat humans at that game because of the way that the rules are. They're very chaotic. So computers can't figure that out. But it's just something that I thought about when you said that about the disc.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of like little things in the movie like that you're like, oh shit, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I do have to agree with this.
While we're on that point, can I show you something that it's not quite visually accurate, but it just kept hitting me, and I just like it's now a headworm for me. So I just want to get it out. So
what is it? Is it a new chapter?
No. Give me a break, dude. I'll get you it before the end of the week. Okay.
Oh my God.
The identity disc sitting on the back of Cora and anybody else like that. Okay. It has that little gap in the top. And you know what it just kept reminding me of? Kept reminding me of this.
It's a Mac. I knew it.
It's a Mac power button. So if you just hold it down for 5 seconds, they'll turn on.
Bro. The possibilities are infinite.
That's all you gotta do to clue is just press it and wait for 5
seconds. Yeah, that's it. Hard shutdown.
But you brought up that image and it reminded me of something that I really love about this film. And you've probably seen it, and probably that don't really equate it to what I'm gonna say, but hopefully you do. I really love how the original poster of the film was not only recreated within the film in the 80s, it was recreated in the poster for this movie as well, and within the movie. And I don't know if
Inception.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But I love that because again, it kind of plays onto what I just mentioned, how we get the reimagined of it. But it's just, the poster where you have Tron racing his disc to the lights, and you have I forgot the female's name on the original.
Oh, in the original.
Yeah, she was like hanging on to him because they're about to, and we see this here with Flynn's son and Cora, and it's the exact same the exact same visual that we see on the poster on both of them.
Her name's Yuri.
Yuri, okay.
Played by Cindy Morgan.
Did you guys? Hopefully, you guys noticed that because it was very obvious. But I don't know if you got the same feeling that I got. Of like giddiness of being able to see this reimagined as well.
I mean, I saw it because I was obviously watching, and I could see like the old covers, and I could see the new cover and stuff like that. And even within the game itself, not Tron, but Kingdom Hearts, there is a scene where that happens. So it kind of like I saw the damn like, oh yeah, that's Tron. Like it was like immediately like click, like that's like what other cover are you going to use for Tron? That's not that, So it's kind of like in music where we have something that's like continuity. Some songs they have like most of them are like verse, chorus, break, chorus. it's kind of like that continuity, and you can see it through the whole movie. And we talked about it a little bit when you were talking about the light cycles, the solar sailors, the I mean, really, almost like yeah, they made little changes with like the disc and stuff, but there was a continuity to the movie from the original one, and even Kingdom Hearts, for example, it's not it's just a part. It's just a little tiny world of Tron inside that video game that I think they wanted to keep it that way for relevance, so people understood this is Tron. This is Tron. This isn't like a spin-off of Tron. This is Tron.
Let me see if I can. I'm going to try to. Let's see if I'm enough here. I'm going to try to show you what I'm talking about, unless Ray already, because sometimes Ray.
Oh yeah, I'm always there.
If you are watching our stream, hopefully you are, and if you're not, please do. We need more subscribers. We're very close to a 500 mark. Please help us. Tell your friend, tell your family, just sign up. But if you're looking at this on YouTube, which, by the way, if you're listening to the audio version, this episode will come up a month after. You could see the cover for the ones that I was trying to describe for the original, the 80s version of Tron. And this is the scene that I got to see on the poster, and I was so excited when I got to see it on the film itself. And now, fast forward to this movie that we're covering today, that same cover got recreated for this film, and I am so giddy. And not only that, but we get to see that same scene, just like in the ones in the 80s, at the end of this film, when he's about to cross over to the real world with Quora. So I was really excited about that. It's one of my favorite things. So if you're watching the YouTube, we're showing both of the posters, and you can, and you don't have to wait. Like if you're listening to our audio, just go into Google and type in Tron 80 poster, Tron 2000 poster, and you'll get to see it. Awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you look at it, and then when you watch the movie, you realize it's almost like thinking about it, like how much creativity was put into the movie, considering that there's so much reference to the original one.
Yes.
Yeah, the graphics are better, obviously. It's a real people in the movie. It's really hi-fi, really, really sci-fi, really high tech. But at the same time, you kind of think about like, damn, do you feel like they kind of lacked a little bit on the creativity side, trying to bring back so many original things that they did before, that you watch this one and you're like, oh, it's like watching the original Tron. They just changed like 2 or 3 characters.
Yeah. So
I think they put a lot of thought into the story. Being a writer myself, I'm always, without meaning to, sometimes just dissecting the story. And obviously, they write the story of a screenplay to have sections in there where there's fights, so they can do their super groovy CGI and make the fights look really cool. I mean, you've seen it in The Matrix, you've seen it in the original Tron, all these sort of adventure movies, they've got to have their fight scenes, which are really cool, and they put places in them for them. But the story surrounding those scenes, and I mean, everybody remembers the light cycles, they remember the disc battles, they remember the flyer battles with the trails and all that sort of stuff. So that's all very memorable. But I do feel that the story that was holding it together was quite deep, in that the philosophy of Flynn, who, if you remember him in Tron, was a bit of a cowboy. He was a bit of a yahoo. I mean, he was a very intelligent guy. He was the best programmer that MCon had ever had.
A young dude.
But he was young, and he was inexperienced, and he was rash, and he was very lucky on certain occasions that he didn't end up dead or de-resed or whatever. But obviously he'd grown, matured, and changed, and that was very reflected in the way he was written for the second movie, to the point where he had to be reminded that nothing happens unless you take action. And that's basically what he'd forgotten. He got so used to sitting on his ass and thinking about things that he stopped doing And it took his son showing up and kicking him in the butt. I mean, that's why my one line quote or my one line plot was Flynn becomes such a wimp, but his son woke him up. The end.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I've cycled right around. And here we are back in my one line description. That is, when we grow older, we slow down, we stop acting and just start thinking about everything. And certain, shall I say, overthinkers in the group here will understand what I'm talking about very definitely. But you spend a lot of time thinking and trying to come up with the best approach rather than being impulsive and leaping in and getting a resolution, whether it was the right resolution or not. And in trying to think of the best result, you stop getting a result at all. Yeah. And I think that was one of the points the movie was trying to get across, that to cause change, you need to make action. Nothing happens unless you start it happening and stick with it. So perseverance and action. And youth have that in spades. Oftentimes it gets them killed. But, if you can temper action with wisdom, then you get the best of both worlds. But you still need action. And that's what Flynn had to be reminded of by his son, that you do have to act. You might screw up, but if you don't act, you've already screwed up, because nothing will change. And I think that's the deep sort of message of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Every journey starts with a single step, but you have to do it.
Okay.
You have to do the step.
Nothing will change unless you change it. So you need to act. But acting wisely is also a good choice. So you need a little bit from column A, and a little bit from column B, and you're good.
Yeah.
No, man, I'm a totalitarian, man.
You want one or
go
the
hard
other.
Or go home.
Nothing in the middle.
Go hard or go home, bro.
In other words, don't ride motorcycles.
Okay, so I think we're at the stage on this show where we ask the question. And the question is, if you're new to the show, what is your last impression of the thing that we're covering? And this is a combination of all of the rewatches and maybe some reflection on your thoughts and how they change from the first time you watch it to the last time that you watched.
Can I go first? Because I kind of did half of it already.
Okay.
Yeah, so my take on the plot I've already given you. I feel that the sequel was a bit overdue. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I haven't researched into why it took so long to get a sequel out of this. But I guess having the main character, who's no longer Flynn, I think the main character now is Sam.
Yeah.
Because we follow him throughout pretty much the whole movie. And Sam takes on Tron's legacy in trying to change the system. I mean, he's trying to get out, but he in that attempt, he also changes the system. And he grows from a boy who didn't want to take any responsibility into a man who has been there, been through it, done it, understands more about the world now, learned from his father who was absent. So, he got that sort of quick download from the old man of a bit of wisdom, and steps out of the grid and decides he's going to take the control of the company back. He's not going to be a jackass anymore. He's going to be mature and responsible, and put Alan in charge, because Alan's got the wisdom on the outside to make sure MCOM is a decent organization. And, he's moving forward. He's acting with intent rather than just screwing around. So he changed during the course of the movie. He became an adult, a proper adult, not just a grown-ass boy. So I do feel like this is a journey of discovery and a journey of growth for Sam. It's also a reminder for Flynn to get off his ass and actually do something rather than sitting there worrying about everything and thinking, oh, I'll just make myself disappear out of the equation and then everything will be fine. No, actually, it wasn't. So action is required. The only part of the movie which doesn't work for me, I got to say, is the fact that Cora was able to come out into the real world based on the description of how the laser system worked in the original movie. Because they said that it digitized the molecules, pulled them into the computer system, and then it spat them back out again. Now, certainly it would have had Sam's molecules stored, so it could spit him back out. Where did it get the molecules for Cora?
Yeah.
Cora's a program.
Yeah.
Didn't even have an orange loaded up, so couldn't make her out of orange peel. So I'm just wondering where that came from. That was sort of skimmed over, and Captain Logic over here, who wants internal consistency in everything, is wanting to know where they got the atoms from. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid movie. It felt a little bit late as far as a sequel goes, much like the last Matrix movie seemed a little bit late. But I think it was a good outing. I think it's well worth watching. Certainly works for those people who are dying for a sequel. Yeah. And I highly recommend it. So if you haven't watched it already, sorry we spoiled the crap out of it, but you should. Even now, even so.
Awesome. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. I'll be quick. I like this movie. This movie is kind of like my comfort TV. I like the first one, but I am more at home with the second one. I love the visuals. As you know, I am a lover of art in all its forms, and it's kind of like an owie feeling, seeing the architecture and everything, how we set up in that world. It's just clear for my eyes, So the movie visual is very, very enjoyable. The choreography, the fights, and everything are great. And I mean, if you're a sci-fi lover or a gamer, this movie is for you, for sure.
Awesome. Okay.
I think for me, the movie, it was more when I watched it the first time. I've always had like this. You could say it's like a subconscious affiliation with things that are like computerized or like AI algorithm and computer tech stuff. Although I've never done anything, I suck with computers. I'm the worst at it. But I love the concept of creating stuff digitally and algorithms and stuff like that. So when I first watched it, I didn't think too deep onto it. But now after watching it 3 times on the last day, I'm like, I actually took a few notes of this because I was kind of like, I was doing what you guys do. You guys watch a movie and you stop and you talk for an hour. And then I was kind of like asking my own questions. But I don't know if it's now because kind of like sci-fi is like my kind of thing with computers and stuff like that. But it's how obsessed humans are with artificial life. That could just be me, a reflection of myself talking about the movie. But I think that also in the way that the world is now, we've become so obsessed with artificial life that this movie, even though it's from like 2010, you could watch it today and it'll still make sense. It's not one of those movies that just age badly. Like you could probably watch the original Tron and be like, "Oh, cool, it's a classic," but the graphics aren't there. It's not. It's not really up to date. Where you watch this movie 15 years later and you're like, "Oh shit, yeah, this still makes sense today."
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so my reasoning for this comes from a fanboy perspective. Yes, I will admit it. But I would have to echo what everybody has said so far in this film. The aesthetics of this film, just like Miguel just mentioned, it just works. And 15 years later, it still works. The music is fantastic. I do have the soundtrack, and you can just put this and just vibe to it. I mean, it does help that you have Daft Punk in there. But not just that. I'm talking about the entire soundtrack. Obviously, Daft Punk's tracks are amazing in this film, but the entire track of this film is totally amazing. I love where they took the story. Again, you guys heard us about what we thought on this episode, but I really love where they took the story and how deep, kind of echo what Ray just mentioned, how deep this movie can go. So I would have to say this is one of those films that we have mentioned in the past that you could watch it and the surface, someone that is not an overthinker, and enjoy. If you like sci-fi, if you like cyberpunk, if you like electronic music, if you check the boxes, you're gonna enjoy this film. But yeah, in the other hand, if you are like we are, overthinkers, there are going to be a lot of things in here that are going to occupy your brain as well. So that's why I mentioned about how I like where they took the story, because it kind of works for as a normal progression of the story, especially if you come from the space like me, where we originally watched the original film. Hopefully by now you have watched the original film. If you haven't, I will echo Ray when I say go ahead and take a moment, because it does help for context. You'll understand. I mean, it's not needed to understand the film, but you'll get some of the, because there's a lot of references in there. And this is another positive that I would say about the film, where I have seen many films where you see references and you're confused. So that's partly the reason why I did the rewatch of Star Trek for my wife, right? So there's a lot of IPs out there. When you watch, and there's a lot of references, you got to pause the movie, go to YouTube, and find the references. I think this is where this movie wins. And the fact that you're able to watch it, not watching the original, and still understand it. You will not be confused. So this is for basically for everybody. And of course, for the sci-fi fans, for the overthinkers. However, you will do yourself a service if you watch the original, because you'll understand the behind the scenes of where this story progressed from. So I strongly recommend this. If you have not watched it by now, it's been 15 years, and I know people that haven't, so it's okay. I would recommend you go pick it up and watch it. There's in Disney Plus if you're in the US. I'm sorry. Is it? Yeah, Disney Plus is where I watched it. In the US, I don't know where's in Australia, but
it's all on Disney Plus. Yeah,
all on Disney Plus. Okay, so there is a big chance that wherever you are, you can find it in Disney Plus. I recommend you go watch it. It is a good film, especially if you are here. Most likely, you're a sci-fi fan. And if you're a sci-fi fan, you're going to enjoy this film for all the reasons: aesthetics and music, story, everything.
Yeah. So, I think one of the awesome things about the movie too, that I don't think we kind of brought up, but I'll kind of bring it up just to open the conversation about it, is that it's a movie that if you go deep in the lore, it's very deep. But if you're just a first-time person watching it, which now you've made me realize when I watched it years ago when it first came out, I had no idea what Tron was. But it's a pretty easy watching movie where you're not going to be sitting down. It's not like watching Inception.
Yes.
Like you watch Inception and you're like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? Or watching a movie like Memento, for example, or really anything Christopher Nolan does is kind of like way too deep. This is just a very easy movie. You could just play it, eat some popcorn, watch it with the kids, and nobody would think more of it unless you wanted to dig deeper.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so that is my last thought.
Ooh.
So before we move on to the next segment, I want to take this opportunity to thank Miguel and Tyler. He had to go earlier. Members
ran away.
Yeah, he ran away. Members of Chasing Stars for being on
Especially
show.
bedtime.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everything you do for Science Fiction Remnant. We really appreciate it as well. And if for all of you out there listening, do go to the website Chasing Stars and sign up for the newsletter. And that way you won't miss on new music coming soon. So Miguel, thank you. And can you tell our audience just one more time about your band and where they can go find it?
Yeah, Chasing Stars, we're a band whose whole theory is kind of like AI. I know Chasing Stars kind of sounds like space, but it's really more based off like cyberpunk, very modern kind of like Tron, for example. This is a good reference. It's very Tronish kind of theme and vibe, and the lyrics kind of represent like that deep meaning of belonging in a world where you want to be free or you want to belong in. Very digital, very synthetic kind of sound. If you want to find us, just head over to chasingstarsofficial.com and you'll hear our first track on there. It's Falling. You can download for free. All you got to do is put in your email and let us blast you with propaganda.
Yeah. There you go. That's the way to do it. And if you're a sci-fi fan, why not? Just do it. So thank you, Miguel. And thank you for letting us play your music on our show. We'd really, really appreciate it.
No problem. If YouTube screams at me, I'll slap them.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for having us on. I really appreciate it. And whenever you guys need some new music, let me know.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
So I guess now we can move to the next segment.
The science and
Yes, well, the science this week's a little thin on the ground because nobody has yet discovered the grid with a world of programs running around living like human beings.
What?
No, they haven't. It's almost as difficult to find as tiny humanoids evolving at rapid speed in your icebox.
Oh man, that would be awesome if I open on my Xbox and I see tiny little people walking around.
We'd have to get sucked into your Xbox.
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah, I need a scanner
or a blowjob. I don't know. One of them.
Oh god. Okay, moving on.
That was Ray, by the way. That wasn't Gian. That was Ray. You guys listen. I haven't been on the show for a while, but from what I remember from Ray, he was a very conservative man. He would never say something like that. What did you guys do to corrupt this poor man?
Let me get something straight. Ray is Australian. He's Australian, bro. He's like an exaggerated version of a Floridian.
So when you hear Florida man, you can imagine an Australian man. Okay, just let's put it that way.
Yeah, except they got wolf spiders. We have crocodiles. Yeah.
Yep. Ray literally just wakes up and goes and beats the fuck out of a kangaroo in his backyard for warm up in the morning for exercise.
Oh wow! Sorry, Ray.
Ray goes and races ostrich, who's the macho alpha that runs hard.
So Ray,
let me give you an example of what Gio just said. Okay, here we go.
Oh, the one with the dog.
Oh yeah. Oh nightmare! I'm closing my eyes.
Nope.
Yes, Newcastle funnel web spider identified as bigger, deadlier than other species. So I live between Sydney, which has the Sydney funnel web, and Newcastle, which has this new, bigger, deadlier Newcastle funnel web.
You know what you can use for this? That. You can use this for that.
Flamethrower.
My boy just busted out a propane, a butane tank.
Yeah, with that you can treat that problem.
He's prepared.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I live between the big fuck off nasty black spiders of death and the bigger fuck off more nasty deadly spiders of death.
All of a sudden I'm very happy to be a Floridian. I just got to deal with iguanas, an alligator. Rarely, by the way. We don't see them all the time.
Oh, no, wait. You got a raccoon. You're training one so that he can communicate you with his people. That's true.
Yeah, but he's like a cat with thumbs. He's like the like. I mean, I love him, but he's like the most bitch made raccoon there is. Like he doesn't really do anything. He's like a cat.
He's
Like
a
I'll bring him in here. He'll play with the dogs. The worst he'll do is like
Oh,
steal
yeah.
the cat food.
Oh god. He's like a ferret.
Yeah, he's like a ferret. Yeah.
Oh god.
So Ray, you could say Australia is the next space. The space
The
one.
next what?
Ground
Space.
zero. Ground zero.
In space, no, not ground zero. Space. In space, everything wants to kill you.
That's right. It's true. So send your astronauts down here to train.
Nice.
Like-
I like that. There you go, Gio. Tron, we gotta find a Flynn.
Okay, so I'll cover that shortly. So obviously, not having found the grid or tiny humanoids evolving rapidly in your freezer, I was going to talk today about the games that have come out of the first movie and the second movie. There've been some others, but the really iconic ones have come from the first movie, and there was actually arcade games for Tron, and I believe that one involved light cycles, so there was sub games. Sorry, so there was the IO Tower MCP cone, which was you trying to get your disc in to kill the MCP. The light cycles game, which is kind of like Snake in a way, and battle tanks, which is the sort of a version of the space paranoids.
That's one thing that I didn't get to see in this film. I would have loved to see this, the tanks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the battle tanks are the low to ground ones. Yeah. Sorry, I'm confusing them with the space paranoids. So that was sort of 4 mini games within this Tron game, but there were also there are actually space paranoid games.
Yes.
So if I swap over to this one, and these are Wikipedia articles, you can look them up yourself. But they're talking about that now. We're missing Gio. He's run off right when I wanted to tell him something important. There was a Flynn's arcade.
Gio.
But it was only at the 2009 Comic Con.
I've been listening.
I
think you all with me to the bathroom.
So you need to get into your DeLorean and go 88 miles per hour and go back to July 23rd, 2009.
Yeah, there was a Flynn arcade in Comic-Con.
In 2009.
Yeah, but in Comic-Con, it's not an actual place.
Yeah,
but you could still walk in there and see it like it was in the movie.
Yeah,
and play all the arcade games.
By the way, isn't Space Paranoids that game on the arcade where you fly in space and you fight like other planes?
No, this is it's that the H looking things to fly.
Okay.
You're actually in the tank and you're shooting at these flying things.
Oh, okay.
Do they have a screenshot of how they? I thought I saw some, and how Space Paranoids looks on the screen when you're.
There was an online version in 2010, but it's been taken down now. These are screenshots.
Oh, you got the screenshots?
Oh, it's not showing it. Hang on.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, I remember that. Wow, so freaking cool.
Damn.
Love that game.
It reminds me of Space Commander for Super Nintendo and Star Fox.
Oh, Star Fox. Yeah, I remember Star Fox.
Yeah.
I played Star Fox for the first time in Nintendo 64, and I did not know they had actually Star Fox for Super Nintendo.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Oh, yes. It looks a lot more polygony, but it's super cool. I'm surprised that they had 3D games like that on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, that's the graphics for going
nice. Reminds me of watching things on Windows Media Player or Winamp, and we're just looking at the synthesizer lights going on with the music rhythm.
So they're actually shots from the movie. I've just realized. So yeah, there were a number of versions of Space Paranoids from. So I showed you the 2010 one, Space Paranoids Online, which was taken down. Obviously, Disney said no and slapped people's wrists.
What's up with Disney? I mean, they could make money from that, and people would love to play it. So I don't know. Especially if we have a Space Paranoid looking like the one in this film.
Yeah. So this one is talking about the Space Paranoids arcade game that was commissioned by Disney as part of Flynn's arcade attraction at San Diego Comic-Con, which was in 2010 to promote Tron Legacy. And it was also later at Disney California Adventure Theme Park.
Wow.
So there you go. So you'd actually play the game.
They need to bring it to Florida so I can go visit.
42 Entertainment released only one machine. So there's only one machine ever made.
Wow.
So they made this whole game to make one cabinet.
That's
crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. But yeah, so it did exist at one point. I don't know if it still does.
Yeah,
but there are plenty of video games from Tron, actually. Plenty.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff for various consoles and stuff like that, which had sort of mini games in them with different versions of the games that were involved in the first movie.
Totally.
And obviously, the games in the first movie were also in the second movie, plus a few added extra things like the flying combat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I kind of wish. You know how many IPs I wish that they would have put out there. So many video games like Tron had. Like I wish it would have been at least some kind of sequel to those IPs that we never got one or had to wait 20 years like in Tron.
Yeah.
In fact, this is one of them.
Nice.
Tron 2.0.
I think isn't that from like Uprising?
It looks like it, but actually this was in 2003. So Uprising was 2012.
Maybe
so
the other way around. Maybe Uprising was this.
Quite possibly. But they were separated in time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it says here, Tron 2 plays primarily as a first-person shooter. Gameplay takes place inside various computers, such as mainframes and personal digital assistants, while some cutscenes at ENCOM Research Laboratory and outside the computer world. But they did have light cycle combat in it.
Wow, I'm surprised it's Mac OS as well. It was Windows, Mac OS, and I didn't get to read the rest of the.
Oh, sorry.
Let me see. If Windows, Mac OS, full mobile phone, Game Boy, and Xbox. Wow, nice.
So there was a lot of platforms covered.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I remember when I don't remember something, but I do remember something. So when I played Kingdom Hearts 2, the Tron world, right?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't much of like the disc battle stuff because you're playing as like a main character that's part of Final Fantasy, that's Square Enix, completely different, thing. But Disney and Square Enix came together to make Kingdom Hearts. So it was a mix of Final Fantasy characters, made up characters, and Disney. So in the Tron world, I remember that what I really remember of playing that game was that the Tron world was the only world where you could actually ride a vehicle and it was a light cycle. So they actually you had to play around the light cycle battles in Kingdom Hearts. And I was like, this is like mind-blowingly cool. It was the coolest shit to ever do in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, nice. That is so cool.
Yeah, I think it was one of the boss fights.
If you guys are wondering, you might want to go ahead and look us up on YouTube and subscribe, and you could see what we're actually showing you some screenshots of that right now. Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's a YouTube channel called Daily Dose of Tron.
Nice.
Did you like Tron much?
Nice.
And they've got a video, you need to play this Tron game. It's 15 minutes long. I'm not going to play it now, but you can check that one out. Show you, and it's a Tron game based on Legacy, so it's updated graphics and all sorts of.
You could catch it on our Discord channel too.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe Geo can hunt down some Tron games and play them on our Discord channel and stream.
Oh, I've been hunting Tron games already.
Oh, fair enough. No. Fair enough then. Yeah, so that's about all I've got for the science, because we haven't discovered the Matrix or the grid or the little people living in your freezer yet. So when we do, I'll report on it. And so will most of the world.
If you find it, you let us know, right?
Yeah, I will.
Cool.
I wouldn't keep that to myself, you know. You know, I love to share cool stuff.
Nice.
So thank you for joining us for this very special episode of Science Fiction Remnant, where we covered an awesome movie, Tron Legacy, and had our special guest stars, which are Chasing Stars. Lots of stars in that statement, but there you have it. It was great to have you on, Miguel, and thank Tyler for us as well.
I will.
We'd love to
Thank
have
you.
you back on again.
We'll do it. Let's find another sci-fi movie. Maybe the next release.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ares is coming out in October, so maybe we'll cover it then. That could be cool.
Yeah, and we can get to play more music.
But remember, you can catch Chasing Stars music at their website, which was what again?
ChasingStarsOfficial.com.
Official, yeah. So it's got official in the name. Or you can scan our QR code on the screen right now if you're watching us on YouTube. And of course, it's always good to watch us on YouTube because we need the watchers. Give us likes and subscribes, and we'll be able to grow our channel. That would really help us. Of course, the one place that you can catch us and talk to us, get to know the hosts outside of the podcast is our Discord channel. Very easy to join our Discord. If you have Discord already and you're watching us on screen right now, you can just scan that QR code, or you can pick up the invite link, which is in the podcast's description. And you too could join us on our Discord. And remember that Discord's the sort of community that you get out what you put in. So if you start a conversation, we'll join it, or you can join one of our conversations, which is going already. When you sign up, you'll need to choose the channels that you want to view. We do have a wide variety of different topics and different channels there. So pick the ones that you're interested in, and maybe even pick a few that you may not be interested in, but you might find something interesting if you give it a chance. And we'd love to talk to you there. We have a couple of websites. The first one is sciencefictionremnant.com. That's our main portal for the podcast. You can find our current released podcast episode there, and you can also scan through our back catalogue to find all those other really interesting and favorite sci-fi moments and IPs that we've already covered. That portal also has a number of short reads on it to do with science and science fiction, so check those out. They're pretty short, 4 to 5 minutes long each, so you can check one out on your phone during a break at work or as you're traveling to and from work, as long as you're not driving. Don't do it if you're driving. But if you're on PT, it'll fill some time for you. So check those out. Hopefully they'll spark your sci-fi imagination. We also have thisissci-fi.net. That one's in its early stages at the moment, but that one's for the creators. If you're a sci-fi creator and you want to get the word out about your property, do join that website and help us shape it into something that helps get the word out there for new creators and is all part of the This Is Sci-Fi network. We have Substack. Substack is a system that delivers either short reads to your email on a regular basis, or if you don't set it up to drop them in your email, you can go onto the site and read through Substacks that you have subscribed to. Certainly, we hope you'd subscribe to ours, but you will also find other sci-fi creators on there that should be interesting reads as well. We have quite a number of interesting conversations on Threads these days. It's sort of the nice X, not quite so toxic. And there are a lot of people who are very interested in sci-fi, and we get a lot of engagement there. So join us on Threads and let's have a good discussion about sci-fi. course, it's not free to make a podcast. At the moment, Robert's covering the bills, but if you want to help us out because you love our content that much, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee link. You can either pick that up in the show notes or on the screen right now. And it would be great if we could get a little bit of help from you there. Any amount of money would be helping to go towards keeping the podcast on the air and keeping us going. So we'd really appreciate that. Also, we do have a Blue Sky presence. I personally don't know much about it because I haven't been on there, but it's very similar to Threads and X. So catch us on Blue Sky as well. Again, thank you for joining us. Check our back catalogue for interesting IPs that we've already covered. We've done deep dives and heavy thinking into lots of different sci-fi IPs, and we do intend to do a whole bunch more. And of course, if you've got an IP that we haven't covered yet and you'd be keen to see us discuss it, and of course, if you'd be keen to join us, you could join us like Miguel and Tyler did, and you could be our local area expert on that particular IP. We'd love to have you on. We're very friendly folk. We'd love to chat with you, and we'd love to chat about your favorite sci-fi IP. And of course, you can organize that through Discord. So do join us on our Discord. We'd love to talk to you. Of course, we're always talking about sci-fi, and we love to talk about the ones that you find exciting as well. And do check out our next episode for another exciting IP in science fiction on Science Fiction Remnant. Bye for now.
Later.